So here we are going to write the custom hooks. Okay, what is a hook generally? A hook is nothing but a function which will do some functionality. Correct, right? Where we will use all these hooks inside the functional components. Okay, suppose whichever the hooks developing by developers or by us, that is nothing but a custom hooks, which are the hooks already available from the React. Those are like a predefined hooks. Now we want to develop our own hook. Okay, so first we need to think like a what is the common code I am writing in multiple components. So for that reason I can use a one hook. Okay, so if you see here in the project, inside the project, most of the time I am loading the data is common. In the employees we are loading the data, in companies we are loading the data, in users we are loading the data, in all the places we are loading the data, right? So then loading the data is common, right? If you want to load the data, what are the steps you have to do? Let us see in the employee in the example. So first you are writing one hook like use effect. Inside the use effect you are loading some writing some data, right? You need to write some data, something like this. Okay, to avoid this problem, what we are going to do, we are going for a custom hooks. Let us try to develop our custom hook and we can see it. Okay, so you can go to that hooks folder. Here we can create a new file. Okay, I will say use fetch something. Okay, fetch.js. So this is not a component, that is the reason I am writing with a small name. All hooks should start with a small name only. Correct, right? So let us try to do. So these custom hooks are nothing but a internally they will use a predefined hooks, but they will do some functionality. So let us see with the example we'll see it. So let us run some example. Export default function, I will say use fetch. Okay, so what we have to do, we are going to load some data. We are going to load some data. So but if you want to load any data, you need to know one URL, right? That is the reason I will take a URL. Okay, now I want to store the data into one variable. How, what you are going to do, you are going to create one state variable constant data is equal to set data, and you are going to use a use state variable. Okay, now whenever we are going to do this use state variable, and I can create like an array. I can create like something array. Okay, now I want to load the data. If you want to load the data, what is the hook we will use it? Use effect. Okay, use effect, and you can use effect will take how many arguments? Two arguments. Okay, so this is the first argument is nothing but a function, and second argument is nothing but a URL. Okay, so the, and we are going to fetch it, and we are going to run the converting the response into JSON, and finally we are going to set the data to here. Okay, now finally you need to return this data. Okay, we need to return this data. Okay, now clear, right? So here what is it trying to do? First we are creating one function, and this function we are writing one state variable, and we are writing use effect, and someone we are returning the data. So this is the most common task we want in a multiple files. Now we want to use this custom hook in any one component, and let us display the data. Okay, for this reason let me go to users component. Let me go to users here, users.js. Okay, so here we are trying to take some users. I'll copy here. So now I want to load the data from where? Users. Here I need to write like something like this, right? So what I'm going to do, we are going to use our use fetch. Okay, use fetch, and if this use fetch is requiring one URL, right? What is the URL it is require? Employee users URL. So let us see. So already we have declared these URLs in one place. Utils endpoint.js. So here all my users are available, right? I am copying this URL and I am giving here. Okay, and this use fetch is going to return one object. That object you can store into one constant. Okay, so what is the variable name? Earlier we are using it users. That is the reason I will say constant users is equal to fetch. Okay, clear? So here what we are trying to do, apart from this, we are not using any state variable, we are not using any use effect, nothing, right? Simple, whatever the common code is there, that common code we are writing inside the use fetch. Okay, so file, save all. Let us try to log in and check it. So I'll click on users. See, all users are coming. From where these users are coming? These users are coming from which API? Using the fetch API. You no need to do all this thing, automatically it is coming, right? So this is a real usage. Suppose I want to use this use fetch for another any component. Let us go to companies component. Okay, here I want to load all the data. Okay, let us see here what I'm going to do. I will remove this data property, or I can simply write like this. Okay, data is equal to, and I will remove here. I'm not going to take any props. Okay, I have removed the props. Okay, now I will say use fetch, first import it and import the URL also. So now I am using the same hook for which component? Another component. Now this time it should load the companies. Okay, because you are giving the okay, here I should use the company's URL, not the employee's URL. Let us company's URL. Okay, now I am using the company's URL, right? File, save all. Let us try to see the companies now. See, 10 is coming, and if you want to print the 10, you can print the 10 also here. Okay, so the 10 URL, let us print data. So whatever the length it is there, automatically it is printing the length. You can use it for any other purpose also. You have to define in only one place, and you can use it for the, and you can verify this network call also. There will be a network call for the company. Okay, so there is a company, see, there is a company call already there. Okay, there is a company call already, it is there, and which is already sending it. So if you want to work on any common code, then you can use what hook? You can use it a custom hooks. If you want to write a duplicate code, multiple files, we can write such code in a custom hooks, and we can use it in an entire project, something like this. Okay, so this custom hook, what it is going to do? So whenever we are writing a custom hooks, we need to find a common something logic. We need to start with the use, because all our hooks with starting with like a use, right? So our common, our hook also should start with a use, and you can write a some name. That is another. Okay, and you can write a hook based on your own component usage. Okay, something like this. So writing our own hook is nothing but a something. You can give any name, no problem, and you can load the data. Okay, yes.